Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am here. Garrett, the woke bay, is sitting there, and look who it
Howdy.
is. Look at that head. 3G himself, Greg Henson. With us. Hello, Greg. How are you, buddy?
I got to get a suntan, don't I?
Yeah, a little bit. Doesn't look too
Sorry,
bad. You look a little blurry. What's going on with your shit camera? What's going on there?
My camera looks good, man. You look
Does it on
blurry.
your end? Yeah, dude, it's so funny. My dad was telling me, he was like sending me links for different cameras and stuff. He's like, Garrett looks better than you do. I'm like, in no
Now I look
fucking
good.
world does Garrett look better than me, first off. And I'm like, dude, I'm in a bedroom at this point. What do you like? I don't know what you expect me to do. We're all just
What are you
kind
putting
of
the
in a
studio in?
dude, I'm in where I've moved to. I'm dealing with an HOA. The studio would have been in a month ago. It was just not that big a deal, but it's like an AC unit needs to go in there, and carpet, but they can't do the carpet before the AC unit, otherwise it's not like there's a whole thing, and then it's all got to go through an HOA, and so they just slow roll everything. They're like it's like dealing with the government, and so what should have been a weekend is going to take 2 months because of dealing with these fucking people. So
Democrats?
yeah, probably.
I was
Red
gonna say
tape.
Trump won. We're gutting the government, man. You don't have to worry about that HOA anymore.
Yeah,
I
right.
know.
Right.
Love it.
Yeah, I know there's such a fine line between, okay, you don't want Fred Savage setting or Fred Sanford setting up in your neighborhood and having a junkyard in their front yard, and it's like, okay, an HOA keeps them in line, but at the same time, it's like, no, we're not all assholes. We just want to
No,
put an
I-
AC unit in. What do we need 2 months of red tape to figure this out? This isn't rocket science. But
Can't you just put a window shaker in there and be done with it?
yeah, there's like a double garage type situation where they want to put a workout in room in one, and so they want to air condition both. So you need what is it called? A something split.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's that, and which is fine. They're like, yeah, we'll have it on Tuesday. We can be out there on Wednesday, and it's like, yeah, wouldn't that be nice? It's going to take nothing to install. It's just the HOA is going to slow roll it. So
Yeah.
here I sit in a fucking bedroom until then. So
Okay.
whatever. Anyway, why don't we start before I get your reaction to last Tuesday, Greg, which I'm dying to know about. We're coming off the weekend. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. I was going to do a show yesterday, and I was having internet issues, and I was like, Garrett, take the day. Fuck it. It's a holiday anyway. So,
Yeah.
thank you to all the veterans out there that listen. I know there are plenty of cops and former military guys that do. Mad love and respect for all of you, including my grandfather, my father, and I'm sure many family members for both of you. But we're here today. The Lions didn't look great Sunday Night Football. Any concerns with your Detroit Lions there, Mr. Henson?
No. I actually never thought they'd lose that game. I doubted it a little bit at half when they gave up that stupid 7 points by not getting a first down.
Oh, yeah.
But I really thought they would come back. I think the Texans aren't that great, but they're also very beat up. Their three best players weren't there. So I know it's hard to believe after all these years, but I just believe they're as good as anybody, and they're not going to be beaten by teams that aren't superior. I feel like Dan Campbell's going to win games he should win.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny because I was watching it with G here, my brother, and I've never heard him negative about these teams. Like he's always kind of keeping the faith. And I'm like, this team's garbage. It's over. Not this year's Lions, but in years past. And he's like, come on, man, halftime adjustments. Let's stay in it. He was out on this one. He was like, and I think he was just in a shitty mood.
Things were going bad, though. He's not wrong. Things were going bad. Everything that could go wrong. And Goff I think Goff hurt. I really do. He was skipping balls. I think
what was up with that?
Yeah. I just think he's injured. Something nagging.
Yeah, well, he had the ankle that looked like it. That could be, something that lingers. But there was something off about his throws. He's never like he's going to be right where you think he is. He's a statue back there. He's not going to run. He's not going to move. He needs a perfect pocket. We know that. But one thing he is is accurate. You give him that time, he's going to kill you. He will pick. He's a number 1 overall pick for a reason. He's got the arm. He can make all the throws. And he was just off. Like behind guys, over guys, short, bouncing them. He was what?
I think Decker out didn't help in the first half. Skipper was not ready to start that game.
Yeah.
And you saw the second half was when Sewell took over.
Oh my God.
He just said, all right, I'm going to block everybody. And he kind of did, and that helped. I think Goff was under fire a little bit. They say he had 5 picks statistically, but there were only 2. Two of them were tipped, and one was a Hail Mary. There was 2.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same way. I hate when they do that. They did that with my guy Purdy in that Baltimore Ravens game, and it was like, 4 picks. Oh no, he can't be league MVP. And I was like, because G was saying that about Goff. Oh, there goes the MVP. I'm like, really? He had a couple bad picks, but other than that, the others, that's just playing the position in the league. Same thing with Purdy, a year ago. There were a couple picks that were just great plays by the defense, tip balls. And you're like, what are you going to do? Bounce right off a guy's chest up in the air. Guy picks it off. It counts as a pick. It's like, really?
I don't care about the fucking MVP. We'll worry about that after the Lombardi.
Dude, is there anything you could give a shit less about than the MVP? Couldn't care less.
MVP. Don't care.
Yeah.
Don't give a damn.
Who gives a shit? G was like, it's important for the city of Detroit and for this franchise. I was like, okay, I guess now that you mention it, maybe I give a shit a little bit, but not really.
Your brother?
Yeah.
Is it okay if I tell him to shut the fuck up?
Yeah. Oh, please. I welcome that. Please tell him to shut the fuck up. Yeah.
I'm kidding. But that doesn't matter. The city of Detroit wants the Super Bowl. That's what's important.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Watching them, I was a little, should I be a little concerned about this offensive line, which has been so good for a couple of years? I heard a lot of people kind of chirping 2 weeks ago about Decker. Like, Decker's a problem. It never jumped off the page at me watching it that Decker's a problem. But he's got to be getting up there a little bit. He's been around a long time. Do you have any concerns about this offensive line? Because this team goes as that offensive line goes.
I have a problem with the offensive line if Decker can't go. I think Skipper's got the weirdest shaped body I've ever seen of anyone in my life.
Ever. Yeah.
The weirdest looking dude ever. And I think he's a fine guy to come in and, in that big jumbo package, but I think he'll struggle against real pass rushers in this league, and that would be a problem. And they don't appear, you better hope Decker can play because he can at least stand in there with the best edges. Skipper can't. But no, I don't really. I saw Graham Glasgow limping a little bit, but he's serviceable there. Zietler looked fine. And like you said, Ragnow and Sewell are just going to do what they do.
Yeah, monsters.
And then I draft one in the first round this year.
What's that? Yeah.
And then I go draft one.
Yep. It's just so obvious when the more years go on and you watch this league, it's boring to draft a lineman, defensive lineman, offensive lineman in that first round. It's not the sexy pick, of the wide receiver, the quarterback. But dude, it's critical. My Niners, I've been bitching about them for a couple of years. It's like, your offensive line is suspect. And then you wait till the late rounds to go grabs. It's like, you're done. You're old, you're overpriced, and you're done. You're not a good squad. And you can't protect your quarterback. Like, the Lions at least seem to get that, I think.
Well, and back in the day, I remember when I was on the Fan, I would scream every year, please take a lineman in the first round. And one year they finally did, and he was a bust named Aaron Gibson.
Yeah.
I thought, finally we got our Pro Bowl tackle, and he sucked. That's why Sewell was so important, because he was, when they ran up to draft him, I was like, oh my God, could this be the one? Is the prophecy coming true? And it has. He's just a great player, man.
Dude, he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. It just makes sense in an offensive league. If you don't have a line that can hold up, it blows your running game up and it destroys. And look at quarterbacks who are under pressure throwing, like against the blitz. The best in the world become 50% guys. And if you give them time, every one of these guys is elite. If you're playing in the National Football League, you give a quarterback any of them time, they'll pick you apart. And it's like, I just don't understand how it's like it all starts and ends right there to me.
Yeah,
it just does.
Totally.
You know?
That's why I'm saying when these draft picks are in the 30s now, go ahead and get yourself a first round tackle or a guard. And get yourself a 2-year project tackle because Decker will probably be gone in a year or two. And keep, I was thinking about this the other day. I just feel like the Lions could perpetuate this run for a long time if they're smart with their drafting. Build it the way you've already built it, which I'm sure they know. Get your linemen, get an edge, keep your linebackers good. They've already got a great secondary. So I think you got to keep building it on the lines. I'll take the best of the both. If they're picking 30th, then hopefully it's 32nd. Then you get an offensive or a defensive lineman. I just keep building that. Keep building that depth because, I think what you're going to see is Laporta's your next guy not getting a contract.
Yeah.
Always injured. They're doing it without him this year. That's the position you can draft a new guy every couple of years. And,
interesting.
And he's not going to get – you can't pay him. He's always hurt, and he's not, not that great right now.
Really? You think Laporta's an issue?
Not an issue, but he can't be counted on because he's injured a lot. And I think that's a position where you can find a guy in the first 2 rounds every year. I'm not opening the bank for a tight end. Are you?
No. I don't want any of my
Branch.
Dude, Brian Branch to me is defensive player of the year quality. Like he is the best player. He's unbelievable. Not only is he never out of position, he never misses a tackle, and he never drops a potential pick. Like those 3 things alone, it's like I've been saying it for 2 years. The night they drafted him, I was like, that's the steal of the draft. That was the steal of this draft, was that kid out of Bama. He's just a football player. And
they knew it.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
That night. Yep.
And he dropped
him and Gibbs. There might be something to draft in Alabama players.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it seems like there could be something there. But no, this kid just week in and week out, it's like I'm constantly looking at G going, see what I'm talking about? He's just unbelievable. He's the guy back there.
I agree.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's funny. I was texting last night with Drew, and
who's
he
Drew?
out of you don't know him, but anyways, but he goes because we were talking about Stafford, and I was like, what do you think, man? Do you think Hall of Fame? I know we're kind of biased, but G is like, he's not a fucking Hall of Famer. I don't care what anyone says. I know he probably will because of his stats. And I asked Drew, and he was like, we were going back and forth and Drew was pulling up stats. And to me, it's kind of like, yeah, you play long enough, you're going to get yardage. It's a passing league now. So lots of guys are getting those big numbers. I don't know. I think Stafford's probably done enough, but is she just chirping? Liberal woman chirping in the background there.
She got a new couch and it's broken, so she needs to get a new one.
Sorry. So anyways, but out of the blue, Drew goes, I don't know that Jameson is legit. I haven't seen, and the more I thought about it, I was like, do you think Jameson is going to be an over-the-top one that can stretch defenses and kind of take over a game like some of these big top guys do? Or is he just another piece in a very good offense?
He's your speed piece. I mean, I don't know that he's going to be elite, but he's definitely got a role, but you're not going to pay him either. He's not going to get, the money that will go with the best receivers in the league because, well, I mean, first he's done that to himself because when you miss games every year because you're doing stupid shit, that's what happens. I'm not saying it's too late, and I'm not saying he doesn't have that ability, but what are the Nico Collinses of the world have in common? They're all big dudes who can go up.
Yeah.
Jameson's not a big 6'4" big body.
Yeah, but there are guys that you see high point a ball on a deep ball, and that one that should have been picked off the other day on a deep route. Like, how does he not know? Like, oh, I got to go up over this guy and take this ball. This is what ones do,
right?
When you're one-on-one over the top and Goff, and he's just standing here. he's waiting for it to just fall in his hands. It's like, dude, how do you not know that at this level? Like, you got to go high point that ball and go steal it from him.
Right. I think he's a good receiver. I'm glad he's here, but if they can keep him within the right salary structure, there's no reason he can't be part of the long-term success.
Yeah.
And you can still go out and find more receivers. I mean, the Lions had no problem. When you have a quarterback, Goff makes receivers look good too. That's the old argument, the chicken or the egg. But the bottom line is he can get it done.
Well, I've watched a very good franchise in San Francisco over the last however many years of this current regime, 7-8 years, make a lot of good moves. And what happens is they start poaching all your guys. That third string linebacker who's really good in Al Jazeera or whatever, he's gone. Your D coordinator goes, your offensive coordinator goes. These guys start getting poached. There's no salary cap on these coordinators. I think you look at this Lions franchise and it's like Ben Johnson has something and he's going to be gone next year. I don't know why a multi-billion dollar organization like the Fords wouldn't go, no, we're going to pay him equal money to the head coach, call him an assistant head coach, whatever. I'll overpay these guys and just go, we're keeping this regime together. Because I don't know what this offense looks like if you take Ben, because I'm assuming Ben Johnson's a lot of that.
Okay, two things. Number one, you're right. I was talking about this with some people today. Here's the thing, though. The minute Aaron Glenn has a bad year, he's fucked.
Yeah.
But he needs to get the head coaching job right now.
Right.
So, because people turn on coordinators so fast. If I was a coordinator, I wouldn't trust any team to hire me if I had a bad year. What if he comes back after winning a Super Bowl next year and then he finally wants to get his head coaching job and his defense doesn't have a good year. He doesn't get the opportunity again. You got to take the head coaching gig when you can get it. That's what I think. I hate to say it, but
Ben's had the opportunity, but that's kind of my point. And you realize you have probably head coach material here. Whatever you're doing is working for the first time in 50 years. Why? Money's
50,
really 70. Money's not really an object. You're talking about franchises that were worth tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars just a couple of years ago that are now worth, I don't know, what are the Lions franchise worth in reality? $8 billion? Why not just go, you're getting $7-8 million a year. Don't go anywhere. And just try
that's a fan talking though.
Yeah, I guess.
Ben Johnson's going, no, I'll never get another chance. Look at me now. They want me now. And if I'm not mistaken, doesn't he want the Bears job, which will be open this offseason?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. If I were him, I'd be super careful because Caleb Williams might be a coach killer.
Oh, I hope so. Oh, I've never rooted against a coming into the league player before in my life.
He brought that on himself.
Yeah, that's why. Caleb Williams, I'm like, yeah, I hope he crashes and burns. No offense. I hope he crashes and burns. Take your fucking fingernail polish and go somewhere else.
Right.
So I just, there are times for that display and your creativity, and your wide receiver is going to be goofy. Your starting quarterback, you want to be locked in on a different level. And maybe that's old school thinking of me, but if Caleb Williams just isn't all that he thinks he is, with comments about owning the franchise, yeah, good luck, dude.
Yeah,
good luck.
I hear you. I don't want to hear it.
No, none of us want to hear it. I've put it off, and we'll get to some of the other last Tuesday. I don't know if you knew there was a pretty good day last Tuesday. I think
we'll get Yellowstone to that. Debuted.
I haven't seen it yet. I can't find it, dude. I've watched it on Paramount. I do want to watch. I hear people are upset about the Costner thing, but dude, this Michigan Wolverines team is virtually unwatchable to me.
It's horrendous. And
horrendous.
This is what happens when you hire a head coach with a boner. They were all bricked up, and they wanted to continue and smash and all this bullshit. Go look at my tweets. At the time, I said, what are you doing? This is not, you don't hand the keys to a program like Michigan to a guy who's never sniffed the head coaching job. And the ultimate litmus test, no one wanted him.
Yeah.
No one wanted Sharon Moore. Who the fuck are you kidding?
What
And
is that? Is that like Michigan man thing? Is that what
no,
that
it's
is? Is it
Ward Manuel.
ego?
Ward Manuel wanted to break the color barrier at head coach for Michigan. That was one of it. He was one of the guys behind the scenes who was privately thrilled that Mel Tucker got all that money at Michigan State. He said, I think that's good for black coaches. And I'm thinking,
Okay.
dude, can we stop worrying about what color people are and hire the
Yeah.
best? I wanted
Yeah.
Brian Kelly, even though I think he's blowing it right now. I think he would have been a better hire than Sharon Moore.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, do you like, to me, there's something I've always said, and I've fought with people about this for years. Like, there just is. And I didn't go to any college. So it's not like I have a bias in this.
Right.
Like, there's a difference between Michigan and Michigan State. No offense, Sparty. Just like there's levels to this league. There are certain universities at that level. There's just something different about Michigan. Should never look like this, in my opinion.
And think about
never.
it. They
What's
fucked
that?
up 3 of the last 4 coaching hires. Why would
Oh,
you trust
yeah.
them to get it right?
It's just so what happened here? My brother wanted me to ask you. He's like, is this a situation where Harbaugh leaves and then 20 fucking blue chippers decommit because, hey, I was going to go there when Harbaugh was there. Now he's not. I'm out of here. Or is there any hope? Because it looks, I don't know how an organization like that, which is just basically a pro organization
Right.
anyways, how do you not have a 5-star quarterback like in the wings? Like, how do you have 3 quarterbacks that literally can't throw a football? I
Well, they
just don't
swung
get
and
it.
missed on. They took Orgy and Denigal in the same class. Both of them were considered projects. JJ left early, and the new guy is a true freshman, and he doesn't want to play, which means I probably don't want it. If you don't want to play as a freshman, you got to go, man. I bet you he hits the portal this year. They have another kid coming up behind him who's a 4-star. They just had a decommit from Carter Smith because they're throwing a bag at Bryce Underwood. And here's the kid who already committed saying, where's my money?
Yeah.
So they're kind of gotten themselves into a difficult situation right now with quarterbacks. But, they got another one who will be a high school senior next year. So they're going to just have to hit the portal in a lot of different places. This team will be worse next year.
Holy shit. And so what do you do? Are you stuck with your head coach? What with him being black and all, like that matters to anybody?
He's getting 2 more years after this. There's no way he's not getting 3 years. The best thing you can hope for if you're a Michigan fan is that he gets caught talking to a hooker in a hotel room on the company credit card. Like the Alabama coach did. That's the best thing you can hope for.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. It just seems like out-coached, and the quarterback thing, like Orgy. I look at Orgy as a 52% passer in high school and go, oh yeah. No, if you're a 52% guy in high school, there's no chance you're going to get up.
In the off season, when people were talking up Orgy, including my oldest son, because people fall in love with athleticism, even though you don't have to be an athlete to play quarterback. Look at Goff's gut.
Yeah.
So, and I said,
Brady.
I said, dude, you can't judge a guy in athleticism. He's got to be able to throw the football.
Duh.
If he can't throw with accuracy, he can't be your quarterback. That's why Alex Orgy's not your quarterback. Right. Alex Orgy, he's portal ready, and he's a tight end. He's gone.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't done that. I keep saying that week in and week out. Like, okay, can he be a slowish wideout or a great tight end? I could see him being a great tight end. Can he not catch well? Like, there's no none of this makes sense to me. But I'm literally at halftime, like playing video games on my phone. I'm like, I'm going to go do Legos downstairs. I don't even want to watch this.
In 35 years, I've had season tickets since '97. I've never left a game before halftime. I've done it twice this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've left the Texas game and I left the Oregon game. And it was like, there was no chance it was going to get good.
No.
None. Zero.
No. If you have a quarterback, like there are plenty of times when you're out, Matt, you're just playing a better team. But if you have a quarterback, at least it's like, hey, maybe we make some adjustments. Like knowing going into the game, your defense is going to have to do something special. You're going to have to bust one on a running play, but there's no chance you have a gamer that can go in there and put a drive or two together. Like no chance. So
there's nothing. And they got bailed out against USC on that long Mullings run at the end.
Right. It's remarkable to watch. And maybe I'm being too hard on him, but I'm finding myself like really not, for the first time in my life, I don't ever remember this, where it was like, I'm shutting this off and leaving the room. I don't even want to watch this.
I've had enough. Thank God for the fucking Lions is all I can say.
Dude, did you ever think that statement would come out of your mouth?
Dude, I still have not come to grips with the Lions being the best team of football. I can't wrap my head around it. I'm loving it. Don't get me wrong. But Mike, how many years did they put it in our butt? And it was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know? And now it's like, they're going to come back down 23-7. This is going to be a ball game. I knew that was going to happen.
Did I. I wasn't even. Yep. I felt the same exact way. It's just different. And you started to see it after like week 3 or 4. It was like, oh, this might actually be the best team in football. Not the best team in the Central, not the best team in the NFC, the best team in football. And
you know why?
Yeah.
When you don't play your starters in the preseason, it takes a game or two to get them right. That's what it was. Goff didn't play, and it's not his fault, and I'm glad they did it because I could give a damn. And I'll take a loss early while they get the rust off. But I think it was smart. They're healthy. They're not beat up, and they finally got it together after about 3 games.
Yeah, and they look, all these people are like, oh, the Chiefs are amazing. Look at them just finding ways to win. Chiefs don't scare me.
Not at all.
They just don't.
Lamar, the only team that would worry me is Baltimore.
Lamar scares you just because he's so different back there that it's hard to scheme up a game plan for a guy like that. Like, there are just certain guys when they're in their prime. Michael Vick could do that to you, where it's like there's just something different about him, and I don't know what you come up with. You see teams do it. All of a sudden, Lamar can't play in the playoffs. And
right.
You know what I mean? Like, you hope that, but at the same time, you go, if that guy's on his game, there literally is no stopping him. Right. But I can't think of another team, NFC or AFC, where I go, wouldn't want to face that. Hopefully someone knocks them out before we have to deal with them. No,
I get you. Totally. I think the Lions are the best team in the league. Not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl because anything can happen.
Yeah.
But they should be the odds-on favorite.
Yeah.
I'd bet on it.
How cool is this, man? It's just so incredible to watch. I mean, it's carrying the city. I've been excited for every 49er game and every Lions game my whole life. And now I want to shut the Niners off in the first quarter. I'm just like, get me to that Lions game. Get me to that Lions game. It's just
we need to get your ass out of here to win.
What's it? Yeah, right. I mean, last year we came close last year, and I was still in town. That was probably the problem.
Well, you know what happens, right? You know the saying.
What?
Where Henson goes, the champagne flows.
Oh yeah, is that the deal? What are we backing this up with?
Michigan last year.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in Texas, they won the national title. When I was in Dallas, the Dallas Mavericks won the NBA title.
Okay.
When I was in fucking Fort Wayne, the Comets won the cup, the Turner Cup. When I was in Philadelphia, the Phillies won the World Series.
Okay.
When I was in Richmond, our local team, 90 miles up the road, won a Stanley Cup and a World Series with the Nationals.
Okay. Weren't you in Pittsburgh for a while?
Yeah, and the Pirates got to the playoffs.
For the first time in forever?
In 20 years, yeah. I just bring the karma.
Okay, where Henson goes, the champagne flows. I like it.
How many fucking Red Wings cups did I bring to Detroit before I left? How many fucking Piston titles?
Well, yeah, a couple. Didn't you even bring us a WNBA title or two?
2 of them.
2 of them? Yeah, it's 6 championship lane now, right?
Yeah,
6 championship lane.
Gone now.
So,
see what I mean?
No, dude, this is such great news. I had no idea this was a thing.
Consider it done.
Consider it done. I'm so fired up. I'm just waiting. Like, I feel like if this was Cleveland, you're just waiting for God to go like, oh, that's cute. You thought you were going somewhere and pull the rug out. Like, I don't feel like that with Detroit.
No,
but I'm still, it's kind of like watching that election last Tuesday night where it's like, I know this looks one way, but I'm still sitting here and I'm fucking glued to that screen. Like, where are they? Where are the people that are going to try and pull some bullshit?
I just had to keep pushing my boner out of the way.
Yeah, right? Dude,
that was such a great night, brother.
Oh, it was oh, it was
People are rejecting finally people are rejecting everyone being a fucking weirdo.
yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
just be normal? If you're going to be gay, but don't cut off your dick. If you're going to be straight, but be a good person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are tired of it. And
Yeah.
and that's what these basic white women on Twitter don't get, and on Facebook and on TikTok is we don't care if far left nutty progressive women are going to have sex with us. I mean, it's not on my dance card. There are plenty of beautiful conservatives. You know what I mean? These blue-haired nose ring bitches don't get it.
Yeah. So what was your household like? Because I know you're in a similar situation to me where you have someone in your vicinity that vehemently disagrees with your politics. I know that place well.
She doesn't disagree. She hates Trump.
Yeah. Okay, that's a better way to put it.
She's a Clinton Democrat, so she's not a progressive.
Okay, good.
She doesn't get really worked up. The only thing, and this is the only part that we don't even bother with it anymore, but she's really worried about the abortion issue. And I tried to explain to her, look, if it's not in the Constitution, it's a state's issue. People don't understand that the states hated each other when they were 13 colonies. They didn't like each other. They didn't want to be tied together, but they knew they had to be to survive. Mm-hmm. So that's why they all reluctantly agreed to this union, but because it's a federal republic, they wanted control over what happened in their states. Yep. So and that's why there's an electoral college, because if you're in South Carolina, you're going, wait, if we don't do an electoral college, fucking Philadelphia and Boston will run the show. And then eventually it was New York. And if we want to have guns, we'll have guns down here in Georgia or wherever. You do what you want up north in Pennsylvania and that. But people don't understand that's what a federal republic is. So the abortion issue was never meant to be a federal issue.
No.
And
nope.
You can get an abortion if you want to get an abortion. It has nothing to do with women's health care. No one's going to let you die if your baby's going to kill you.
Yeah.
That's just idiotic. It's idiotic. All the scare tactics that have been thrown at these women are unconscionable. But
where are they getting that?
It's worse.
Yeah. No, it's a poisoning of people. And it's weird because if you even try to simply break it down for them about the Constitution and why, it makes perfect sense that RGB felt the way she did.
It's Project 2025. It's what's been beamed into their brains for the last year and a half or so.
Which is not happening.
No. And the funny thing is, you could, with a 900-page conservative document, you can point to stuff. And I had to explain to G, I wouldn't even bother with the warden, but with G, I'm like, you know what the funny thing is? Left and right, you and I would probably agree with 95. I haven't read it yet, but I'm planning on it. We'd probably just flat agree with 95% of whatever's in this ghoulish Project 2025. That's the reality of it. It's so every time it's like, well, look, it's already starting. They appointed so-and-so, and it's like, yeah, I would expect there's going to be a lot of crossover, and there's probably a tremendous amount of stuff in there that we would all agree on anyways.
Right. And here's the thing. So there was my wife went to bed. She's not overly political, but she votes. Right. But I will tell you, my 19-year-old, he talks like this. He comes and he voted for Trump too. And he comes into my bedroom at 1:30 in the morning. Right. He goes, Dad, they just called Pennsylvania for Trump. He was all excited. So he's competitive though. I think most of him just didn't want to lose. Right.
Sure.
And so he was all excited, but I could tell it was over. There were 4 things that told me it was over. Baldwin County, Georgia, not going for Harris very strongly. When they flipped the county Jacksonville's in Duval County, Florida. And then when Virginia and New Hampshire were close, it was like, she has no fucking chance. No. She's going to get her ass smoked.
Were you worried at any point of shenanigans? Because
they still happened in some of these Senate races, I think.
Yeah.
How does Trump blow somebody out and then the Senate seat goes to a Democrat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's in the 2 states that haven't been called yet, or they're still counting. Like it stinks. It looks like people are up to something.
Right.
And
yeah, you have every right to be cautious about it.
Oh my God. Do you, at the end of the day, they were talking for a few days, and I think it's down to 10 million votes now. And my brother's kind of hung up on that because I was like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Where'd those 10 million votes go? A lot of people were talking about that. Are you sold on something happened in 2020? Not that it matters.
I think when they changed the voting rules in certain states, it drove up the vote. Like Pennsylvania, they changed their whole constitution like a month before the
Right.
election. And I think that made mail-in voting more accessible and easier for people. And I think people just weren't excited about, mostly her, but Trump too, although he got a little more this time than last time, right around the same. But no one wanted to turn out for her. I think,
I don't think so.
Even black people don't like her.
Right.
Because she's not, quote unquote, a real black person, according to friends of mine. They're like, she's Indian, man. She doesn't know the black experience in this country.
No.
And I said, hey, who am I to say? But whatever.
Yeah.
She doesn't even know the black Indian experience in this country. She went through Canada.
Yeah. Right. And she also was middle class. She didn't go paycheck to paycheck as a kid.
No.
And then when you lock up a ton of black men in San Francisco as attorney general, and then you run around and tell stories about how when you were at Martin Luther King's speech, you told your mom you wanted freedom. I want freedom. Oh, please.
Bullshit.
Oh, please. She's such a phony.
Yeah. No, and that's kind of at the end of the day what happened is they try to dissect what happened. It's like, inauthenticity is what happened.
Right.
Sorry.
There's
no, like, we're adults. We can see authenticity. We all gravitate towards it. And that you were anything but authentic.
Right.
Like,
totally agree.
You're as simple as that.
And you're inarticulate. You don't want to tell me what you think. You're dancing around issues, which makes me think you're hiding something.
Yeah.
And Trump did a few brilliant campaign moves. McDonald's, the garbage truck. He went out and got himself shot in the face. You know what I mean? He was never losing this election in my book, ever.
No, the one that I love is the Rogan one. Like, dude, I saw today they were talking, that fucking idiot Dana Bash or whatever on CNN, talking to someone saying, we need our own Joe Rogan. It's like, hey,
you had him.
Yeah, that's what he was. You know that, right? Like, we need to find our own Joe Rogan. It's like, or not fucking absolutely bury the one you did have. How about that?
What does that remind you of the mantra all those years? We need to find our own Limbaugh. The reason you can't find your own Limbaugh is because you're devoid of humor. Limbaugh was fun, and he had a good nature about him. There is no such thing as a liberal with good humor. That's the problem.
No, it's incredible. In fact, I had in one of the notes that I was taking about this as they're trying to dissect the Morning Joe and these clowns just totally out of touch with the stuff. And one of the things I wrote down is the real mistake was trying to equate comedy with people's real opinions on others to equal hatred. Like, that's where you're so dropping the ball. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, like, if I make a joke about something, like, I love young Garrett here, it will never not be funny to me that he enjoys cock. That will never not be funny to me. It doesn't
still kind of funny to me. Don't worry.
It's hilarious. That doesn't mean
an enjoyer of the peen.
It doesn't mean I don't like the gay. I don't like no, but I can still find humor in that.
That's where they that's what they fucked up with the Puerto Rican thing. It was a comedian making a roast joke that even Puerto Ricans laughed at because it's meant to make you laugh. It's the absolute lack of humor on that side, to me, is one of their biggest problems.
Yeah,
it's one of the biggest problems.
These guys coming out after the fact too and claiming like, the problem was you go woke, go broke. I'm like, what are you guys listening to fucking episodes of our show from 5 years ago? Where are you getting this information? Like, What, you didn't know this a week and a half ago that this was a problem? That you guys pretending to take everything so seriously and every joke is a problem?
But
Like,
does that
you didn't.
surprise you from people
What?
who gaslit you into thinking that Biden was perfectly fine and mentally stable?
Yeah.
I mean, they're fucking liars. It's all about the talking points for the Democrats. It really is. It's not about realism and authenticity. It's, well, how do I get these talking points in here? That's why Kamala Harris kept going back and saying, I was born in a middle-class family. Okay?
Right. Yeah. So
did you see Bernie Sanders, his statement after the election?
Yeah, but he said what he does.
Yeah.
Like he said he was accusing Republicans of what libs do.
Yep.
What did he say?
So here, I got his tweet right here. He had like a weird moment of clarity. It's one of those weird moments.
What does it say, Garrett? Read it.
It should come as no great surprise that the Democrat Party, which has abandoned working class people, would find that working class has abandoned them. While the Democrat leadership defends the status quo, the American people are angry and want change, and they're right.
Yeah, I mean, this is toddler stuff.
Yeah.
Like, make it make sense when the #1 podcast on planet fucking Earth is willing to have you. Like, no, instead you're going to make ridiculous demands, just showing that you're not willing to do it. And he's giving you a platform that, while he might get 12 million listeners on a daily show, that thing would have hit 80 million an episode for 3 hours. So you weren't willing to go to Dallas to go on Rogan's show where 80 million Americans would have listened to you for 3 hours. Say anything you want. Talk about any subject you want.
They don't want her to.
No, of course. But instead, you're going to be like, no, we've got to focus in Pennsylvania. Like, you're going to hang out in Pennsylvania for 3 weeks doing 20,000 seaters on message.
And she's still lost.
Did you hear what she paid to be on Call Her Daddy?
Oh my God.
$100,000. They built her $100,000 set to be on a podcast that was not changing any minds.
No, hell no.
Preaching to the choir on that podcast. Hey, did you hear about the podcast strategy?
It didn't hit 1 million views.
No, it's a joke. Who cares? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Who gives a shit?
Did you hear about the podcast strategy?
No.
So they came up with a list of podcasts for Trump to go on, and they gave them to Trump, and Trump said, run these by Barron first.
Yep.
I love it.
Barron changed them and put them on Rogan, Theo Vaughn.
He put them on that fucking kick streamer, Aiden Ross.
Yeah, fucking brilliant.
Yeah, dude, that's really interesting to hear because I couldn't figure out the Theo Vaughn one.
Yeah.
That makes sense now. Like, Joe Rogan, anybody could see from a mile away. If you can get on Rogan, you go on Rogan. Right. I could see doing Patrick Bet-David. I can see doing Lex Friedman. Theo Vaughn stood out to me like, how did that come about?
Yeah.
And it was perfect. And I think better than his Rogan appearance was the Andrew Schultz one.
Yeah.
Like, he might have had a hand in the Andrew Schultz one, but that's just smart thinking. I mean, it seems so simple, but I wonder why they were so deathly afraid of putting her on there, because I'm not necessarily, I am kind of convinced she's sort of an idiot.
No.
That's just crazy.
Have a grasp for the issues, and she's not articulate.
Yeah. I don't know how you get to that level as a prosecutor or whatever, or in senator. Like, I understand she was banging fucking Willie Brown or whatever and got her start, but then she got in the door and, you make of it what you can. But how do you remember? How could she not sit down with someone for 2 hours and just shoot the shit?
She can't do 3 hours.
Yeah.
Even JD Vance was fantastic with Rogan.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
If you sit down with Rogan and just talk, it would be easy as hell.
Yeah.
You're just having a conversation, but she can't do that because she's a polished up, she's just a polished up politician that no one feels is warm and articulate. I mean, she's just, eh.
Yeah.
To throw a glass of wine in her hand, she might have been great.
Yeah. And dude, we've seen Rogan do that with 1 million people. Sit down and get hammered with him.
Oh, go down and Bill Maher gets stoned with guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
famously, it's Elon Musk smoking weed. It's like one of the most famous photos of that year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think that's his most listened to episode ever.
Yeah,
of all of Rogan's. Like it's just crazy. I found this story interesting too. I don't know about you, Greg, but this has kind of pissed me off. Like so many people, and I know they got this talking point from either Bill Maher or the Daily Show. There must have been a mandate going out where over and over it was pounded into people's heads that you concede an election. Like this is democracy. They're all hung up on the fact that Trump didn't concede that election.
Whatever.
I couldn't give a shit less. To me, okay, Stacey Abrams has never conceded an election. Hillary Clinton still hasn't conceded 2016. Like that part doesn't matter because they made that phone call. And we're clinging to that. Then, so to me, that doesn't mean anything. I don't know if this means anything, but Melania Trump has turned down an invitation to meet with Dr. Jill Biden on Wednesday when Trump visits Joe Biden. Melania did visit toward the White House with Big Mike back in 2016. After that, she ain't going, a source told the New York Post. Joe Biden's husband authorized the FBI snooping through her underwear drawer. The Bidens are disgusting. Joe Biden isn't someone Melania needs to meet. And I know people are going to have a problem with this. Fuck
that
them.
Makes her hotter.
Dude, honestly, Dems love to do this. They did it the other night. Oh, the election's over. Let's congrats to the other team. And now it's time for this is how grown-ups do it. Time for the peaceful transfer of fuck off.
Right. There was no insurrection. Shut up.
No, yeah. And this idea, no, you gaslit hundreds of millions of people into believing that Hitler's on their doorstep. Why would you want a peaceful transfer of power when we've got Hitler and fascism at the door? You should be going, guys, we tried our best. This is we are terrified. Hitler's here now and you voted him in. Holy shit.
What were you thinking?
Yeah, like that would be a reasonable response. But it's like it's a game. In other words, you meant none of what you said. Otherwise, you wouldn't be going, hey, may the best man win, and he won. So so for Melania Trump, I can totally understand why you'd go, no. You crossed a line when you sent these fucking bullies to my house to root through my son's shit and through my panty drawer. No, this isn't normal. Hey, just politics being politics. No.
When you weaponized the CIA and the FBI, no. I don't blame her. And the only reason Trump's going to meet him tomorrow is because that's kind of protocol. They got to get together and talk about things because let's face it, Biden's out. He's not even involved anymore. He's just showing up every now and then. But the whole thing with the left and I have a real problem with what they've done to their own constituents. They've terrified them on climate change. They've terrified them on Hitler. They think they're going to put them in camps and that they're going to lock up journalists. All this shit they keep saying.
Ban abortion federally.
You're fucking insane.
Yeah.
You're insane.
Yep.
That's why I love Human, the new guy at the who's going to deport people at the border. He's not having it. He's like, if you're a sanctuary city, you either get out of the way or we're coming with more agents because we are deporting people.
Yeah.
I love that.
And this is going to be a messy one. But unfortunately, this administration put us in this position. I'm sorry that somebody has to come clean this up. But that's the reality you've put us in. When you opened the border and essentially welcomed 15 plus million unvetted people into cities across this country, you created something where now someone else has to fucking deal with it.
Right. And I love his line when he said, you're going to have to separate families. He goes, no, we're not. We'll just send them back all back.
Yeah. And this idea like, oh, this is just, there's debates, from I'm seeing all these people talking about how cruel and blah, blah, blah. No, you broke the system on purpose. I don't believe it was ineptitude. I think you did exactly what you wanted and left a situation where you went, yeah, what are you going to do about it? And it's
And they didn't count on the Latinos voting for Republicans, which I think is fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah. And they're
now I want them all to stay.
And they're being gaslit now into believing that they're coming for your grandma who's undocumented.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
no. What's
well, did
gonna
grandma
happen
break
is
the law?
they're gonna knock on a Latino's door, and he's gonna be like, "Yeah, here's my papers, but if you want to know where the illegals are, check down the road over there on that house."
Well,
like that's what the Latinos in this country are gonna do.
Yeah, you know what? You know what the first thing the media is going to do? The first family that gets deported will be famous. They're going to put them all over the news.
Yep.
You know, little Juan and little, you know, and
Jose and Hoseby.
Yeah,
couple twins.
You know, he was torn from his bed at 2 a.m. and put on a first-class seat back to Venezuela. And you know, you remember who was the Cuban kid that they many years ago?
Oh my God! Yeah. Oh my God! Down in Miami. Yeah. Fuck. What was his name? Oh, the military guy with the gun in his face.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do.
Gonzalez? Was it a Gonzalez?
Elian Gonzalez?
Elian Gonzalez, yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh my God, that's right.
Do, man.
Yeah, dude, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But something's got to be done about it. You know, it's just, again, the gaslighting. And I fear these people haven't learned a lesson, because it reminds me of, you know, Kamala Harris when she was picked for VP after what she said about Biden in that debate. And then when asked about it, like, oh, you said he was racist and he was a blah, blah, blah. And she's like, it was a debate. And she's cackling. In other words, I meant none of that. It's just a game. I'm trying to win a game, and I'll say whatever I got to say to win a game. And it's like, you realize there are people listening to that think that Hitler's on their doorstep, that Trump's going to come in and because he hates women, obviously, and is going to ban abortion federal. Like, none of it makes sense, but these people are trusting you. They're believing you. I'd respect her if you know, if she listed the reasons she felt he was racist, which Joe Biden certifiably is. Joe Biden is a real sack of shit human being.
We have
Sorry. Oh God, there's, you know, I know our liberal friends right now are not aware of this, but trust me, if you dig a little deeper than CNN, you're going to find out what Joe Biden really has said and done over the years. But if you turn down that offer to be VP because, you know, because of that, and when you know what, it's unacceptable how Joe Biden, what he has said and the stuff he's done, you'd become a hero in that situation. But no, it was a debate. Like, in other words, none of what I say I believe. None of it. None of it.
Exactly.
It's just unbelievable, you know?
It's maddening, and I'm just glad that more than make America great again, it's make America fucking normal again. I'm tired of all the weirdo bullshit. I'm thinking that's going to change. Hey, I was listening to Glenn Beck today. Did you hear him discussing the tax policy Trump wants?
I haven't heard that.
He wants to fund the government on tariffs and drop your income tax, which means if you make $100,000 a year, you'll bring home $100,000 a year.
That'd be unbelievable. I don't know what the negative of that is, because wasn't that the way it was done years ago? That's not like a new thing.
Up until World War II. And then we brought in the income tax because we couldn't really do imports and exports because everything was going to the war effort.
Right.
And then it was supposed to go away after World War II, and it never did.
Listen to the first hour of Beck's show today, the podcast, because he lays it out, and it's a very, very intriguing situation. Like, the object of tariffs is to make foreign products so expensive that we'll bring them here and make them. So I think it could be amazing. Albert in the chat says he wants to start out with a 50% reduction in taxes. Do you know what stimulus that would be for the American people?
Oh my God.
Taxes, to cut your fucking income tax? It would be amazing. It might be incredible. Short-term pain for long-term gain, but you would get manufacturing back in this country, and you would have every other country in the world wanting to come here, or every other business in the world wanting to come here, pay no fucking income tax.
Yeah. What is the argument against it? What is the negative side of that? Is it that because I think a lot of people would say, hey man, if you think we're going to make fucking t-shirts and blue jeans in this country, you're nuts.
We used to.
that is done out of the country for pennies on the dollar. If you were to do it here and pay American wages, all of a sudden a pair of jeans would cost, a shit ton more. And we need that overseas labor.
No, because foreign products would be so expensive that you could compete here with normal wages. It might, and you would have other if you made them here and tax the shit out of jeans that came from China, then the prices would be the same. They're saying the hard part is closing the budget gap and it would increase the deficit. But then they started talking about if you cut the Department of Education, you cut some of these useless 3-letter programs.
Agencies. Yep.
They figured they could close that gap, and plus, if the economy grows, it pays for itself. I mean, I don't know.
The left
listen to Beck today. Tell me what you think, because he had a guest on who just walked through it.
The left would lose their minds. That meme going around. I haven't seen the left this angry since we took their slaves away. I haven't seen Democrats this angry since we took their slaves away. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
and that dude, can you imagine if you actually did something, not a show pony version,
transformative,
like if you literally shrunk the federal government, which every conservative in the history of mankind would jack off to, the idea of taking away the teeth from these assholes. I mean, that's really at the end of the day, the difference between the two parties. One wants big daddy government to coddle them throughout life, and the other wants them to fuck off quietly. Do what you're supposed to do and then leave us alone.
Did you hear about Trump's other plan for that? Here's how you want to find here's how you find out who wants to be in service and who doesn't. You move the the EPA to fucking Omaha.
Yep. Oh, I love it.
Get them out of the Beltway. Let's see if you really want the job or if you want to be hanging out with the rich and famous. Spread that shit out. Spread
all over the country.
It gets rid of all those voters in Northern Virginia that are there to keep voting for their job every year.
Yeah, dude. Every time there's an election and you see it, it drives me nuts. When you look at it, it's like, even in something where it's a landslide. This guy won 52-48. Like, holy shit. And then they get to Washington, D.C., and it's 96-4.
Right.
Every time. It's like there's that rot is what they're voting for. And by the way, it's not 96-4 for the other team ever. It's the same team that this whole group that wants to keep funding its bullshit and never lose its job. That's what they're voting for. And if you could split that out and splinter them about the country, love it. Love it.
And the Northern Virginia and Maryland T crowd. Get them out in the rest of the country. Because the rest of the country does not see it the way they see it. They're all very insulated in their own little world. And, you hear about Kamala she raised $1.6 billion, okay? She's 20 million in debt.
20 million in debt.
And now she's fundraising off recounts.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. My brother sent me a text he got asking for $50 or something from Team Kamala. He was like, are these people fucking serious right now?
It's amazing. It's amazing. So how did the warden take all this at your house?
It has been there. We've had moments. We've had moments
Tell
where.
Me about it. Tell me all about it.
I am just. Hold
on, let me pull up a chair. Tell me all about it.
I know you're here for it. Get your popcorn.
I'm all ears.
Actually, brother, I thought it was going to be like someone at my door with a butcher knife. Like, this is your fucking fault. Like, honestly, I thought that's what I was going to deal with. It was very calm here. I stayed the fuck out of the way. I stayed down here with Cece. Me and Cece sat here high-fiving all night. She was giving licks on my face. I was giving her belly rubs. We were having the time of our fucking lives. And I was just trying to, I didn't want the kid to come down and see my rock hardness. So I was trying to keep the doors locked. Like the
warden comes in when you have a fake like you're crying.
Yeah, this is devastating.
You were doing cry porn.
Dude.
I just feel so bad for all the women.
Yeah, but then I don't really know how to react when it's like, this just further proves that men hate women and blah.
No, we don't.
And you're like, what are you? I don't even bother. It's just like, yeah, I just try to change the subject because it really bothers me that people out there that they've trusted have done this to them.
Yeah.
That something that's supposed to be a trusted, established group of individuals presenting these people with news and important information, has gaslit and lied to them to the point. And I'm going to find a way to explain it in a right way where maybe it can get through to some people about just how fucking manipulated they've been. Glenn Beck, I think, just put his book out, Propaganda Wars. I want to read that, but I think that'll go into a lot of fucking detail about how this is done. But I feel bad for a lot of these people. They're operating in good faith, and there's no reason. Obviously, there's crazy people out there that are going to believe whatever they want, but it makes me question, like, so was Alex Jones just crazy, or was Alex Jones making way too much fucking sense over the years?
Well, Alex Jones takes stuff that's true and blows it up to where it gets to be borderline untrue.
Yeah. Right.
The whole Sandy Hook thing, I just don't know how he went with that story. What are you thinking, dude?
I think he was having kind of a mental breakdown at that point.
Yeah. And there's no win there, though.
What's that?
There's no win there.
No. But if you're living in that world that he was living in, I think alcohol played a part, and I think some sort of mental breakdown. And believe me, I beat the shit out of him during the Sandy Hook stuff. Yeah. I thought it was unfair. I worried about the families in Newtown, Massachusetts, that were being targeted by his listeners, and he knows better. He knows having an audience that is going to be, ravenous, are going to call these families and accuse them of being liars, and those families didn't need that. And so I went after Alex hard. The difference is I would never want him deplatformed. No. I would never want his voice shut off, because I understand what that can lead to once you knock that down. Once you take his right to free speech away, as abhorrent as you may think it was about Sandy Hook, you're just one step closer to going, we don't agree with Greg Henson. He's no different than fucking Alex Jones. He needs to go.
Hey, they're coming to get his equipment tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep. Why? Now, what I don't understand is why you wouldn't have some hotshot conservative just go, here's $20 million. I'll buy all of it. And then just fucking give it back.
They were. It's kind of a tainted brand, though.
Yeah, he's got to get off the InfoWars.
Yeah.
What's that?
He's got to get off the InfoWars, which I know is his whole thing, but it's got a name to it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. But
you need a psycho conservative.
But or Elon Musk to just go, free speech means this much to me. I don't give a shit who it is.
Right.
You're not taking someone's voice away. You're not gonna take their studio away, because
Elon gave him his Twitter account back immediately.
Yeah. Oh yeah. As he should. It's funny when you look back at this. I was kind of going somewhere with the whole.
Hey, Trump's with the CIA director.
Who?
John Radcliffe.
John Radcliffe.
Did you see? I know the name. Dan Bongino for Secret Service.
Dude, that'd be amazing. That I could get behind.
That's
for
a consideration. Sure. I'm down for that.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the guy who exposed the FBI's FISA abuses and the.
There you go.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's going after it.
Dude, more so than who he's putting on that team, telling us that he's not putting Mike Pompeo there is fucking huge.
Yeah. And Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley too. Bye.
Rhino.
How grateful are you though? Had whatever took place in 2020, and I've never said that election was stolen. I don't know what happened on that November night in January 2020. Something felt fucked up. And the fact that they all demanded we get in line and tell them it was the freest and fairest election of all time, say that verbatim in those exact words, or you're not welcome on the airwaves, tells me that you were up to, I don't know what the fuck you did, but that didn't feel right at all.
No, I agree.
If anything went, thank God, dude, this administration, there's no JD Vance, there's no Vivek, there's no Elon Musk, there's no Joe Rogan, there's no Tulsi Gabbard. None of that exists.
Oh, dude, Rand Paul's throwing his name in the mix now with Elon Musk.
Good.
I'm so happy.
Like, Can you imagine if this was what would this administration, in your opinion, have looked like, Greg, or had he just won an election coming through COVID in 2020?
Trump?
Yeah.
Oh, I maybe he needed 4 years off, though. Here's why.
Yeah. I think we needed this.
Because I think he's making better decisions this time. He knows where the bones are buried. You know, like, think about some of the other idiots that he brought in, like Sean Spicer. Remember that fool?
John Bolton. Yeah.
John Bolton. I mean, he was bringing in people who were just hacks, man.
You know who I'd love to see back, by the way, before you continue? Kayleigh McEnany. The greatest press secretary in the history of press secretaries.
He's considering Peter Ducey, though.
Peter would be fine. He would be fine. Yeah, he's not. Yeah. He's not Kayleigh McEnany, dude. That chick.
Smart.
She's so smart, and she owned that press corps. Owned them.
And fun to look at.
Sure. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely beautiful, but even more so, she was just a baller. What's her name too? The chick out, the daughter of what's her name? She was good, but Kayleigh, huh?
I mean, hear me out.
Sanders.
Yeah, Sanders.
She's in governor of Arkansas.
Yeah,
hear me out though. I think we should keep KJP right now because it's just be fucking hysterical to have her explain Trump to people.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Because she can't do it with Biden. I feel like we just get to a point where every press corps is just her throwing her arms up, going, I don't know, just fucking take over.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Greg. I want you to finish your thought on what you think that would have looked like.
I think it would have been an 8-year cluster like the first 4 years. I think he needed time to step back, talk to people, refine his rogue image. I don't want him to be a politician, but I want him to know what he's doing. And I felt like the first time around, it was seat of your pants, which I get because they targeted him from day one, right?
Yep.
He was a target from day one. He never even got a chance to have his first term because they were lying about him, 10 minutes into the thing.
Impeaching him 10 minutes in. Day one.
Yeah. The Russians got him in office. But I think it was now. Can't you see the maturity as a politician between when he left and what it looks like now? I mean, right now he's just systematically filling out his cabinet. He's got a clear mandate. He's not hiring idiots. The people he hired are people who I think the people who voted for him are happy with by and large. Maybe not Kristi Noem, because some people don't like her, although she looks fun too.
Oh my God, does she ever?
Oh yeah, brother. I don't think the 4 years and plus Biden has lowered the bar so low.
I was going to say, not just Trump getting 4 years to kind of reframe himself. I feel like he gave the left just enough rope to hang itself.
And they took a lot more rope than they needed to do it too.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty stoked about it. I mean, I think at the end of 4 years, I think even liberals are going to go, hey, that was way better than I thought.
Yeah. Do you think that's possible? I wonder about that because
the rational ones,
5% of them. But that's enough. That's enough to blow out anybody they put up in the next election. He can change a lot of hearts and minds about the party now by doing what he said he was going to do. And I heard him say today, "I got 100 days." He told Hannity that I got 100 days to get this done.
Yeah. I've never been, honest to God, and I know it'll drive liberals nuts. I've never been prouder of this country. I was starting to feel like.
It was gone.
It was gone. It was starting to feel like, holy fuck. Like, dude, the last thing I want to be doing is fact checking the media every day. I want to have fun and fuck around. That's what we do for a living. We fuck around. And it felt like we were at a point where it was like, you're going to lose the whole goddamn thing if you're not careful. You're going to lose it all.
CNN's going to lay off a ton of people.
Yeah.
Because... Well, they need to redo everything because no one trusts them anymore now. They've been exposed. But Anderson Cooper makes $20 million a year. That Caitlin Clark makes $3 million. There's another chick who makes $6 million. You don't need those people to get 100,000 viewers a night. And MSNBC is in the tank now. This is a massive reset for the Democrats. And I got to tell you, Trump's VP will run in 28, and that guy is good. He is good.
He's a problem. He's a fucking problem.
And he's already
likable. He's likable. He's smart as shit. You can see it immediately. I don't know how they're going to spin him. His story is undeniable. I don't know how you're going to spin him as Hitler, and they will, obviously. Weird. Yeah, nice try
And
with the weird
it's one of those things that's even funny on the Joe Rogan podcast. He gave me the perfect soundbite I've been throwing at people recently where he talks about, the trans issue saying, yeah, we don't really care about the trans people being trans. We just don't want them in men's sports.
Right.
And I'm like,
right.
that's the perfect saying right there. I could just right there.
Yeah.
There's your trans hatred for you.
If you're a conservative, you don't want to be in other people's lives. You just want to leave people alone. And that's why
all it is.
The abortion issue is being so twisted. It's now back in your state. If you have to cross the border to Michigan from Ohio to get an abortion or whatever, so just do it.
Well, they're very worried that someone's going to leave Texas and go get an abortion somewhere else and then be prosecuted for that, which is just silly.
Abortion to me is outdated. With all the technology you have, you don't need abortion. You can get the morning after pill. You can use a rubber. You can pull out. You can do. Abortions are outdated, man. You don't.
Not just that though.
It is barbaric.
The argument I hear all the time is like, oh, well, what if the woman was raped, or what if it's going to kill her? I'm like, every conservative I've ever spoken to has been okay with an abortion in the case of rape, incest, or death of the mother.
Right.
Yeah. I was listening to
that's a weird issue though. Like, it's such a small portion, but it happens, and so you got to have provisions for it. And Trump wanted exceptions too.
Yeah, that was like a very reasonable provision.
People here where I am in Arizona, they were freaking the fuck out, like, oh my God, they're coming for our abortions. It was like, and now it's in your constitution in the state. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. You're good.
You voted good.
When abortion was originally put in place with Roe v. Wade, I think it was Clinton. It's just that it should be rare. Abortion should be rare, and it didn't.
Legal and rare.
Safe, legal, and rare.
Safe, legal, and rare.
And it just turned out to be just, hey, I don't want this kid. I got a good job. I just got a raise. Get it out of me. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. No, it doesn't make sense. I do, it's having an effect too. I was listening to Glenn Beck and Stu like a couple weeks ago I guess a week ago. And Stu was kind of like, he was kind of bummed, like, we got a lot more work to do. And it's like, he assumed, I think, as someone who's really, Christian conservative, that, the whole country's behind me. And it's kind of like, we're going streaking and you're the only one out there running nude. And he just kind of had this attitude like, well, they voted, now it's constitutionalized in places like, he was kind of bummed and was like, yeah, dude, I understand how you feel, but you realize like fucking 80% of the country agrees. Like,
and not only that is, if you're so against it, don't get one. You know what I mean? But you can't tell some broad in Arizona who got knocked up that she's got to have the kid after 12 weeks. She's going to have to, or whatever the Constitution says. But I'm sorry. I mean, it is technically their body, their choice, but I think that needs to apply to everybody. Like, don't put COVID vaccines in my arm to work if it's our body, our choice.
Right.
Yeah. But
women, fact is, of course,
I would never be involved with a woman who would kill a baby. Just, I knew my wife would have our children. I wasn't. Yeah. I would never be around a woman who would abort a kid.
Yeah, and that's you're entitled to that opinion. I don't know. Honestly, I'm starting to think like even God is pro-abortion. And the reason I say that is because I fucking knocked up Beth and then God took that baby away and she miscarried. So even in that situation, God was like, no, we're not, this one's not going through. So even God.
Not with that asshole, honey, try again.
I mean, even God was like, no, in this case, I'm pro-abortion. So,
we're not having another one of him.
Yeah.
No.
Whoa. I thought this guy's pullout game was on point, but apparently I need to step in. And so,
have you ever seen
there are exceptions where even God is like, we're cool with abortion here.
Were you guys going to have it if it went to term?
I have no idea. She just called me one day from work. She's a nurse and called me and was like, holy fuck. I just, blah, blah, blah.
She went to the clinic, dude.
She was like, his? No. So
fuck that.
Fuck that. Where's the nearest coat hanger? We're not doing this. But no, I I have no idea. We never had the conversation, and the way I deal with everything is very dark and humor. And that's one of the things we got along with. I really bummed out my audience when I joked about it so openly, like the next day. But that was because Beth and I joked about it. And I was like, well, it happened to us. It's not like I went, what? You're pregnant, punched her in the stomach, and then laughed about it.
It's
just
part of your story. It's part of
our story. No, it wasn't like that at all.
It's your journey.
But it is kind of weird to get a text from her a year later, like, it'd be a year old right now. And you're just like, damn, I hadn't thought
a little harder.
You should have said, we named it. Go out back and play catch with it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about my best friend.
And you're swinging next to a bear swing.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah.
So swinging from the umbilical cord.
Yeah, it was
and you're pitching.
You guys are terrible.
You're just out in the backyard pitching to nothing.
Yeah, just throwing to a ghost in the distance. Kid's got an arm on him, doesn't he? Yeah, it's terrible.
Son Christ.
Jesus. Yeah,
it's you're having to talk about the birds and the bees, and there's nobody sitting next to you.
Nobody there. There's just a puddle. Just a puddle. Yeah, yeah. I can't remember what I was going to say something else. I can't remember what the fuck it was now.
Maybe it's best that you don't.
Yeah, it's probably bad. I probably said enough already. But I love Joe Rogan's take on it too, where he's like, "Let's be honest, boys. If men could get pregnant, abortion would be an app on your phone."
Oh yeah.
We could get those at a drive-through. Because like, fuck, I'm carrying that woman's baby around. Get out of here.
It's true. That's true.
There is some truth to that, But I know there's a lot of fear. What's that?
But the species aren't the same. By and large, women love being moms. Women love being, they love kids. Most of them. I'm not saying all of them. And there's a lot of dads who love kids and don't want them either. But by and large, they're just wired different. Because I'll tell you, when my son was born, I just saw this change in her warmth and her affection. It wasn't toward me.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, it was just like, it was almost
like it left you.
And I know women will get mad if I say this, but it was almost like her instinct kicked in to be a great mother, and she was into it and everything. Now with the second one, she's like, fuck it, give me a smoke. But the first one, I just saw things change in her from a woman who really didn't want kids until I said, well, that's a deal breaker because I want kids. And she said, okay, we'll have kids. And then she went from not wanting to, oh my God, I can't imagine not having them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 No, I totally get it. I've seen it with a lot of people, and everybody says the same thing. It's impossible for me to relate because I've never had one. Right. But I believe people when they say it, like, I'm still in the zone of like, Cece is my daughter. So
multiply that by 100.
Right. And I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I thought my dog was the greatest thing ever. And then I had a kid and it was like, fuck this animal. It's in the way. Don't even look at it.
I didn't do that to my dog.
Yeah. Yeah. But I look at Cece as my child. I can only imagine, so many people have the same accounting. I've never met the person who goes, oh, I had a kid, but I still looked at my dog as the one,
No. I didn't.
Nobody does
dog, that, but I certainly didn't put her in the back seat. But I certainly knew where her place was in the pack. But like the thing now, my kids are 21 and 19.
Yeah,
and dude, it was great when they were young, but now it's fucking awesome. I can sit and talk Lions with them. My oldest son's the basketball beat writer for Central Michigan's newspaper. It's his first job in the media, and he calls me, and we can talk about stuff. My youngest one is a fucking weirdo who plays hockey, and it's fun to talk.
Dude, it's fun. It's fun to watch all the things your wife posts about your kid playing hockey. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
He's going through it right now, though.
Why?
Because he's not getting a ton of playing time. He's a freshman. I said, dude, they don't even want to see your fucking face this year. Just shut up and skate. Because you know how it is. I keep telling him, I said, do you think Giovanni El Hadi, the Michigan offensive lineman who didn't touch the field for 3 years, How do you think he felt? But he knew
Yeah.
that the team would be his eventually. So suck it up and skate. And he's like, all right. I'm like, enjoy the process. Not many people get to do it,
Dude, it'll be over in the blink of an eye, and you'll forever talk about it being the greatest time of your life.
Yep.
I know you don't understand that while you're going through it, but trust me when I say everybody, there's something about youth and those college years that people look back on as like everybody says the same thing.
But you think it's going to last forever.
Right.
That's not.
Yeah. No, it's tough. It's tough for me because I walked into a world where it's like, boom, all of a sudden there's a 9-year-old there or an 8-year-old. And it's like this weird, like they're not cool enough to hang out with yet. Like they're so dumb still that it's and kid like that it's like, I can't wait for this kid to break through that and be like 12, 13. Yeah. I'm sure he'll be an asshole, but hopefully you have a relationship established where it's awesome to hang out with them and talk about stuff like that. Like I'm looking forward to that.
Like on Saturdays when me and Noah, he's the football fan. He comes down from Central, he gets in the car, and we drive to Ann Arbor, and that's 3 hours in the car with him to talk about whatever we want. And I met his girlfriend, his first real girlfriend, a couple of weeks ago. It's just really cool milestones, where it's like, he trusted me enough to bring his girlfriend around. That was kind of cool.
Awesome.
Because I was like, I told my wife, he's never bringing his fucking girlfriends around us.
Yeah. Why? You guys are cool as shit. Person.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you guys are fun. Like that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, like the fact that you have a kid who would go week in and week out to the stadium like I never would have done with my dad. And my dad's cool as shit. My dad's awesome, but I never wanted to be around my parents. Never wanted to hang out with them. It was like, ooh, gross.
My dad and I go to concerts every chance we get.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Korn like a month ago.
I was horrified by the thought of my parents being around. Horrified.
You know what?
Love them now.
Mike? Our parents were older than their ages.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
To be honest, like my dad was 18 years older than my mom, but he was still a nice, funny guy. But my mom seemed so old in her 50s. You know? Yeah. I was like, it was like, fuck, will she make it to 70? She didn't, but you always wonder that,
Yeah. No, my parents had me at 25. They were 25 years old. And so, when they were 50 when I was 25.
Yeah, they were younger than me now.
Yeah.
My dad's 50 now. And we still just went and saw Korn.
Yeah. Like, it makes sense that he'd go see Korn. But I just like, that's cool when I see like some of these kids that are in their teens or I wouldn't have been caught fucking dead with my parents.
Here's the funny part.
Caught dead with them.
Before my kids got to college, I had to call them on the phone to get him to come downstairs. Right?
Yeah.
I get a call from each of them every day now. Hey, Dad, what's up?
Awesome.
Hey, you want to get lunch? Or the other one, Noah will call and say, hey, you watching a game tonight? They never called me before.
Yeah. Especially
when they were living in the house, they didn't talk to me.
Is it Noah that's is in the media now?
Yeah, he's up at Central. He's at CM Life. They pay him to write articles.
So does he reach out to you for because of your background?
Oh, I was busting his balls on the air the other day. I said it was the day Bronny played with LeBron, and I said Noah had written his first article. I said, this fucking kid's gonna live in my shadow his whole life.
What does
he went back and listened to the podcast. It was pretty funny.
That's hilarious. Does he want to be running a radio station, doing writing?
No, he wants to be a journalist. He seems to be pretty good at it. He wants to write sports. I said, I don't know what the future is going to look like for sports writers, but go for it.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that pans out in the years to come.
I think they're going to need multiple streams of income. They're going to have to be digital. They're going to have their own brand.
Yep.
And build their own credibility. And that's doable. They can be sports influencers.
Getting linked up with like Barstool or something.
Yep.
Don't be Mitch Albom. That's all I would, that would be my advice.
My kid's not a
Yeah. As long as your kid's not a dick, you'll be fine.
Right. Don't be a prick. Don't be so self-absorbed.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, this has been so much fun. I'll let you go.
Okay.
Thank you for being here. Let's do it again this week or next week for sure. Whatever.
All right. As long as it's not cutting into Oysters Park time, I'll be here.
Dude, I get it.
I'll kill you.
I get it. All right, everybody. Well, you know what? I'll let you go. I'll do a couple emails with Garrett. We'll wrap it up too. And then
all right, let me know when you want to do it again. I'll be around.
Yeah, sounds good, dude. Congratulations.
Later,
it's going to be an exciting 4 years.
Yeah, it is, man. Take it easy.
Hell yeah.
Oh, all right, pal. All right, Garrett. Should we do a couple emails and get out of here?
Alrighty.
God, yeah. I had a bunch of stories. I'm sorry, everybody. We'll
You're fine.
blow through some of them tomorrow. I should have asked Greg actually about his thoughts on that FEMA stuff going on, but maybe we can get into it tomorrow.
Leaked text messages.
Yeah. Very, very troubling, not to like pound lumps on stuff, but if that story surprised you, that should say something too, because I don't think it surprised a lot of people that would have voted for Trump. I don't think it surprised many people, as sad as that sounds. Okay. Hey guys, since Trump has been elected, I have been unable to have an abortion. How dare you? How dare you vote for a man that made it impossible for me to abort an unborn fetus that is unable to exist inside my body? Hi, Woke Bay.
Hello.
What is Garrett doing out of camp? Trump is supposed to put him in. Great show as always. Love when Amy is on.
I blend in well enough to where they actually send me out in the field to recruit the other gays so I can get them back to the camp.
Oh, is that what the camp is for gays? Lock up gays?
They have a couple of us like straighter gay people that they trust that go out and recruit the other ones to get them back to the camps.
Gotcha.
So that's what I'm doing out here.
A lighthearted email inspired by Garrett.
Oh, boy. All right.
Hello, friends. During a recent members-only show, Mike noticed a Fabio calendar behind Garrett's head. And no sooner than the next afternoon, I was visiting my elderly parents in their home. I'm going through some deep shit these days, and my 80-year-old Catholic mother said she was going to pray extra hard to her guardian angel to shine his light upon me. She then disclosed her guardian angel is named Bo, and he looks like Fabio.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah, there you go,
That's
Frank.
a little pillow back there.
What's that?
That's a pillow back there.
Pillow? What are you talking about?
Yeah, Fabio pillow.
That's a Fabio pillow? Yep. Or a calendar?
No, it's a pillow.
I thought that was a calendar back there.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Oh, what do I know?
It's one of my best garage sale finds.
Seriously, yeah, that's hilarious. It's a Fabio pillow. Is his ass showing in that thing, or is that just his head?
No, I wish. Just head.
Of course you do. All right, let's do one more. Dear cult leader and Woke Bay. I know I wasn't going to spell it right.
You're good.
I meant to send this a while ago when I heard, probably on Drew's show or What Are These Podcasts, and didn't have time to pull it for you, but Howard Stern literally on his show admitted your bowl of soup claim was spot on, and he was not ashamed to say it. Yeah. And the subject was Howard Stern has lost it. Yeah, Howard Stern has lost it. There's no question about that. I actually written something down. It's sad to see. He's I get it why people were fans of Howard forever. I was never a fan. Used to fucking rag on Howard even in our Drew and Mike days. I never thought he was as good as everybody thought he was, but to each their own. You can be a fan. He's in trouble. He's in trouble. And the fact is, there was a coolness factor with Stern.
Yeah.
There was a danger factor with Stern. He was the final boss level, if you will. So if you could get through the Howard Stern interview, it put you through to a different level because he was the only one that could ask you to, like we all could, but we weren't given the opportunity. Otherwise, there's a lot of people that would have been Stern. But he was kind of that you were rewarded in the public's eye if you made it through that final boss level of sitting down with Stern and him asking about your sex life, blah, 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 blah. It was risky. Not anyone could do it. And but now woke Howard, and he's very proud of being woke Howard these days. There's nothing there. You're never going to know what Sirius's numbers actually are. But I guarantee you this, the TSL of Howard Stern is not what it once was. If you look at the TSL time spent listening of Howard Stern, back in the day was commuters. They had 30 minutes and people, one of the big parts in the movie was TSL for people that love Howard Stern is 15 minutes. And those that hate him, it's 30 minutes.
Yeah.
What do you think the TSL is on Joe Rogan? What do you think the TSL is on this show?
I'd say pretty much every episode all the time.
Yeah, the whole fucking episode. It's a different animal than what it was historically. My guess is Howard is done. It's like that coolness factor. He's got a Howard Hughes vibe to him. You know, he's the guy afraid of his own shadow. He's afraid of germs. You know, if we found out later he was jarring shit and piss and keeping him down in his fucking dungeon, it wouldn't surprise anyone. He had his run. It's over. He blew it with Kamala Harris. He blew it with Joe Biden. And nobody talks about those interviews. They're, and he can't deal with it. So, he's proud of his, if that's what woke means, and consider me what, like, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it at all. It's passed him by. And he'll never gain that back. He's an old man now.
And he already shot himself in the foot by going so hard against podcasting, saying how it's the worst thing ever and it'll never take off. And he's at a point where he can't switch over to podcasting, kind of garner his own little corner of audience.
And dude, I get it. I get that feeling. I know that feeling of, hey, this was our space. This was our playground. You know what I mean? Like, lawyers don't have to deal with this where people can just like read a book and now I'm a lawyer too. But you can do that when you're talking about entertainment or talk shows. You don't need a special degree. You need to be entertaining. You need to be able to converse and stuff like that. And so for someone like Howard, who's had an exclusivity in a lane, it's what the landscape, his media is dealing with.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they want to shame and mock and laugh. Oh, look at these guys. What are they selling? Coffee? It's like, yeah, they're selling coffee beans. You know what else they're doing? They're getting fucking millions of views, Anderson Cooper. Yeah. That's what they're doing. They're getting millions of listens. You're not. So you can mock and roll your eyes and act better than all you want. But that lane is closing fast. And Howard's a prime example of that. And the bowl of soup theory doesn't surprise me. It was obvious in 2020 that was what was going on, and they tried to run that back again today, and saw where it got them. Anyway, all right, why don't we call it there, Garrett?
All right.
Unless you've got anything you need to say.
No, we're good.
All right, let's call it there. I'm going to go take care of Cease, and we'll do it again tomorrow. I'll tell you what's going on. I've got some kind of news about the show Drew and I are going to do with Landau and blah blah blah, and there's been some movement there and a couple interesting things. I'll get into that tomorrow, and we'll call it a day. All right.